Hey guys, welcome to my sports world. From a different setting today. I'm at my desk, not in my usual corner over at the other end of the room. So the reason I wanted to make this video is because I want to make this preview video for the upcoming game on Sunday that we are playing against the Jaguars in Florida. And I wanted to look at several things that I normally don't. Because we are now entering a stage of the season where you're past halfway and you're starting to kind of like go towards the playoffs. And with the win we had last week, we have a bigger chance of playoff. As I want to say, we went from 25% chance to about 40% chance of a playoff spot this year with that win, if we can keep the momentum going. So I have my computer up and running here. I want to look at the games that are coming up and how they will affect us. Um, Today we have the Patriots and Falcons, and that's a very interesting game because um, the 49ers are kind of like competing with the Falcons for a playoff spot in the NFC. So we know that the Patriots are not great. They're not like they used to be, but they're still good. And they have pulled off some quite impressive wins lately. And it looks like Belichick and Mac Jones are finding a recipe for winning games. So I hope that, this Thursday night football game is very important because if the Patriots beats the Falcons, that helps us, the 49ers. So let's hope for a Patriots win. Looking forward towards Sunday's games, the Ravens and the Bears, and the same thing there. The Bears will be one of our competitors coming down the road for a playoff spot. So of course, we want the Ravens to win that game. Maybe the most important one. There's a couple of more, but maybe the most important one is this one, and it's the Packers against the Vikings, and we are fighting head to head with the Falcons, the Bears, the Vikings, and the Bengals, and to some degree the Seahawks. So Packers against Vikings. I hope this goes the way it should go. Aaron Rodgers will be back, full force, maybe fully healed after COVID, stuff like that. And they're playing indoors in Minnesota, so weather shouldn't be a factor. I hope that this is a game that the Packers will just smash the Vikings, and that will help us. So there's a lot of favorable matches this week for us. We move on to the Colts and the Bills. Doesn't really matter for us anyway. Then you have the Lions and the Browns. Doesn't matter to us. Washington against the Panthers. I think Washington is way too far back to have any impact, so it doesn't matter. Texans and Titans doesn't matter to us. And then, of course, you have the 49ers and the Jaguars game, and we come back to that one. Dolphins, Jets doesn't play a role in our way. Eagles and Saints can do. Saints can also be a factor in our playoff thing. And so can the Eagles. So you probably want the Saints to just win that game and really just put the Eagles off the burner for a while. Now we come to the Bengals, and Bengals doesn't have anything to do with us. So that game is I was wrong on that one. So that doesn't count. Cowboys and Chiefs. Cowboys is too good. They're too far ahead for us to even make an impact on. So they're going to be a seeded team, I think, this year. So no biggie there. Now, Steelers, Chargers have no influx on us. The same with it. Basically, well, Giants and Buccaneers, it really doesn't matter to us. It's not one of the teams that we compete against. It would be nice to see the Buccaneers lose a game, though. One more game. But here's another game that can have an impact for us. And that's the Cardinals and Seahawks. Who do we want to win here? As much as I want to distance our team away from the Seahawks, we want to keep the Seahawks as far as behind us as we can. It's also important that if we can catch either the Rams or the Cardinals, things will open up in a different way. So you know what? In this game, I would love to see the Seahawks win over the Cardinals. I would really love to see that because Cardinals is both the Cardinals and the Rams are on a losing streak. Okay, Rams is a 2-game losing streak. The Cardinals has lost 1 game. If the Seahawks can pull an upset, because that will be an upset, and win because it's in Seattle, so it's fully possible. Um, if the Seahawks could beat the Cardinals and we go on, let's go back up to the game we are playing against the Jaguars, which should be a total um, possible thing. You know, we should be able to win over the Jaguars for crying out loud. So if we win our game, as we should, as the papers say we should, every paper, every stat that you look at, say that we should beat the Jaguars. So let's say we win it. We win against Jaguars, and the Patriots beats the Falcons, the Ravens beats the Bears, the Packers smash the Vikings. Let's just do the teams that play on the role for us. Let's say the Saints beats the Eagles, and the Cardinals lose against the Seahawks, and the Giants beats the Buccaneers. That's our weekend of goodies for us. That really helps us, because if we win this game, you know, let me go back to standings and NFC. And we look at the NFC West. Right now we are 4-5, and if we win this upcoming game against the Jaguars, it puts us at 5-5, and we are a 500 team again. That would be awesome. Right now the Seahawks is at 3-6. Rams is 7-3, and the Cardinals are 8-2. The Rams and the Cardinals will have a bye week. I think the Rams has a bye week this week. I'm not sure when the Cardinals have their bye week. Maybe next week or something. Because next week, when Rams has their bye week this week, and next week when they come back, they have to go to Lambeau Field and play the Packers. I think it is, or is the Packers coming to LA? I'm not sure. It's those two teams. I think they have to go up to Lambeau Field and play the Packers. So Rams can really be on a downward spiral, really bad here. They lost 2 already. If they lose against the Packers, they go up to 7-4. If we win now this week, we are 5-5. If we win the next week, we're 6-5. That means we're really putting a pressure on the Rams. We might come down to the last game of the year when we play the Rams, and it might be that we will be at the same winning and losing games, like the same standing, the same stats. Both teams will be like at the same winning and losing, and the two head games that we have won will come up as the deciding factor. So for us to now go after the Rams, Rams has a pretty tough schedule coming up. But and this also goes for the Cardinals. This group is not done yet. This group is not set. The only thing that I can say is, in the NFC West, if the Rams and the Cardinals, because here's how it can go. I'm sorry about the angle here, the camera angle. But there's 2 things you can look at. You can start off the season hot, and you can be hot until midway, and you can fall off. And boom, your season is done. Or you can start off a little bit with trouble and slow, and not very hot, and bye weeks and mid season comes along, and you hit a hot streak. Oh my lord! It's always the team that finishes the best that will go to the playoffs. Rams have 2 losses now in 2 games. They are not on a hot streak right now. And if this puts a little bit of doubt in their heads, yeah, the Rams can become the 3rd team in the NFC West. and that's something really, really, really interesting here. And for Cardinals, if Cardinals lose a couple of more games and we keep on winning, I know they're 4 games ahead of us, but if they lose a couple and we win a couple and stuff like that, the only problem with the Cardinals is that we lost against them. So the head-to-head game. So we have to be in front of them to really have an impact on that. But I say we have to focus on the Rams here, and beating the teams that are coming up. And let's go back to the games, um, to the game. This weekend we're playing the Jaguars, and they are not that great, but they got a vitamin injection when they won a game, and sometimes that's all it takes for teams like the Jaguars. They get one win and they get blood on their hands and then blood on their teeth, and they get to smell and taste the blood, and they want to go out and do the same thing the next game around, and that can be the bad thing here. So let's see what they did. Um, let's go and take a look. The Jaguars. The Jaguars are 2-7, so they won 2 games, so no big thing there. But they lost against the Colts, but they beat the Bills. They beat the freaking Bills and they beat the Dolphins. Those are the 2 teams that have beaten. So beating the Dolphins is no big deal. Most teams do that now. But it was an upset when they beat the Bills. I have to say that was a big upset, maybe the biggest upset this year so far of any team. But we should be able to beat the Jaguars. I'm not going to say we're going to outclass them in any way or like put on a 50 burger or anything like that, but look for a convincing win. A little bit depending on injuries and who's back. I know that Elijah Mitchell had to have a finger surgery because of a sprain or a strain or a broken finger or something like that. There was something. But in this game against the Jaguars, I don't think Elijah Mitchell would be the biggest loss to not have, because I feel that in this game Jeff Wilson Jr. can do a good enough job, and Trey Sermon can be a backup for that. So if we don't have Elijah Mitchell in this game, I don't think that will be a biggie, because we have Wilson and Sermon. And I think against Jaguars, any running back can do good against the Jaguars. But I'm not saying that we're going to win this easily. We can't take anything for granted. We have to put in an honest day's of work, and we have to go on like this, like we're playing the Cardinals or the Rams. We have to go with that mindset that we're playing one of the best teams in the NFL. Scoring. If we can do the same game plan as we did against the Rams, meaning that we run the ball 70-80% of the time, we can do some serious clock management that way. And if we're efficient enough to score touchdowns when the opportunity knocks, I think that we can probably win this game somewhere in around 24. Let me put it like this. My prediction is for this game 27-13, the 49ers. That's my prediction. 27-13. I think that's a good prediction. It sounds good in my ears. Look for, well, let's hope that Kyle Shanahan goes ahead with the running game like he did against the Rams, and that we, even if Elijah Mitchell is not playing, let's say we have to go with Jeff Wilson Jr. and Trey Sermon. I think those 2 are good enough to do the job. And then we sprinkle in the in over the middle throws, the 10-15 yard 10-15-20 yard passes over the middle, to like Samuel and Kittle and Ayuk. Our offense should be good enough to beat this team, and our defense should be good enough to keep their scoring on a lower end. So, and a loss against the Jaguars would be the season low of every low. I mean, that would be, if we lose against the Jaguars, I'm gonna flip out over because I don't want to even think about it because that would be such a low thing to do. Uh, but I'm optimistic from what I saw last week, and I think we will win. My prediction is 27-13. I think they score a touchdown and a couple of field goals. That's about it. Um, and I see us score like 3 touchdowns and a couple of field goals. So I think that's a good score. I think that's a good scoring prediction. Um, as long as Jimmy G doesn't turn the ball over, we should be good to go. Turnovers and penalties, if you can stay away from that, we should be good to go. So that was my prediction, guys. Let's see what happens on Sunday. I'm going to be watching the game tonight, the Thursday night football game. Patriots against the who was it again? Was the Falcons? Let's see. Yeah, Patriots and Falcons, and let's hope that Patriots wins this game because that will help us out. We need Falcons to lose. Going forward, let me put it like this: going forward, we want the Bears, the Falcons, the Vikings, and yeah, those three. We want those three to lose as many games as possible. Maybe even the Saints. So let's see what's happened. Take care, guys.